right, Owen. So obviously, we've been talking about this. We touched on Houston asphalt. People freak out. The one thing that I've obviously the car count has not been what we want, and some classes have been. Some classes have been. I got to tell you, man, the legacies. I mean, these guys. I mean, they sell out. I mean, they are there. I mean, trucks have been strong. I mean, it's hot or cold. I will say the crowds have been. Your thought on the crowd? I mean, there are nights that I think our car count's been a little low, but I mean that crowd shows up and they're pretty energized. That's the one thing that, not the one thing, but that's something that I'm really glad to see. I mean, those folks show up and man, they're fired up and ready to watch racing, and that's the very important element in this whole thing.
Yes, just like I said with the race ranch, the crowds have not disappointed in Houston either. Pretty solid crowds. And like you said, what amazes me is I can be standing in the infield while the races are going on and with a headset on, and I can hear them cheering, yelling and screaming and going crazy just for a 3-car Legends race, three Legends on the track. Yeah. And people are going nuts because the top two are battling it out side by side, switching positions. So the asphalt crowd's pretty intense. Them guys, they're pumped up and they're enjoyable. So far, yeah, the crowds and they all come to the pits. We've been busting our ass to put on a good solid show that don't waste no time, get it in, get them down in the pits by 10 o'clock. And so far we've done a good job. We got a stellar team over there from top to bottom, with Terry Race directing and obviously, Tech is as good as it's ever going to get with Edelman and, Mike Meekum behind the scenes helping us, Rodney on the mic or Steve Cape and then Bobby running what he does. And all those pieces come together. Yeah. Kevin Sullivan, man, I can't thank him enough, and Debbie for all they do. Like I said, it's just a good team, and excited about the team that we have and the team going forward.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, in terms of the appeal of the asphalt racing, obviously we get questions all the time. There's a question on the Facebook feed: Is asphalt racing in Texas done? And Roddy and I both said, no, it's not done because of the effort with the team in Houston and then some of the news coming forward that we'll get to here in a minute. But the state of asphalt racing, we've had this conversation before. It's the spark is there. The spark has been there. And the good news is it doesn't look like the spark is going out, and it should turn into a little bonfire coming up here.
Yeah, I think Rodney can share some bonfire here in just a second. And I think racing in Houston and asphalt is really good. Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
When originally, John Albertson got with me and talked to me about helping him, and we got this thing rolling, and appreciate what he did to get us to this point. And then he decided to move on. But where we're at today is good. I mean, it's good, and I don't think asphalt racing's dead at all. I think it's actually going the other direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. So let's go to it. So the good news is there will be racing at HMP in 2024. But I know it's been 4 races, 6 races, whatever. Owen, lay it on them, dude. Let's talk about what's in store for 2024. Because for the people that have always said, well, I can't commit. I can't commit for once every 2 months or 3 months or whatever it's been. Lay it on these people, and I'll pull this schedule up. Lay it on them. What is coming up in 2024 at HMP?
Schedule is done. We actually have a schedule. Probably, y'all know if anybody else has put out a schedule yet?
No, sir.
HMP's on the schedule today, right now. HMP schedule is out. 11 races. 11 races at HMP in 2024. Solid dates. Super happy with them. I think we're gonna, as Roddy would say, we're gonna kick ass. Overall, super stoked about the 11 dates we have in 2024 at HMP. And let me mind you, I can't hear anybody else complain about, well, all the tracks on the dirt are on top of each other, because there's 11 dates that I know 2 tracks won't be running. That's and right. The other tracks can get involved in, right? Because there's 11 dates. I'm going to be at that asphalt track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a big part of this, Owen, to me, really is that, I mean, that right there, that is where you can, for the folks that are worried that it's not worth the investment, I mean, right there, and it spaces out nicely. I mean, March 5th, April 20th, May 4th, June. I can't see, but it's essentially once a month with a couple of double ups in there, maybe. But I mean, that right there. I know the financial part, all of that factors in, Owen. But dude, that right there is a very economical and a very full schedule when it comes to pavement racing around here.
Yeah, I tell you, it is a full schedule, and we didn't want to overdo it. Actually, me and Dean worked together, and Dean, there was more dates offered than what we ended up with here.
Oh, wow.
Some we have to work with schedules to get it right, so we wanted the right number. We also didn't want to go overboard. We are getting some solid crowds, and we don't want to overdo that to a point where the crowd's like, we can go anytime. I think a 12 to 13 race season, both my tracks right now, Texana and STS, are running 13 race seasons. You obviously get a few rainouts here and there. You wind up with a 10 to 12 race season. It doesn't kill the pocketbook of the racer. It doesn't burn the fan out from seeing it too much. And it gives everybody a solid chance to enjoy what we're doing here. I mean, that's what it's about, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's an awesome schedule. I mean, like I said, you don't want it's kind of like you don't want to give them everything because, like you said, if they're like, oh, we'll just do something with the family this week because we can go next week. I think but working down at Texana with the number of race dates that's on the calendar, it's not a deal breaker. You miss one race, two races, you still have enough races on there to whet your appetite, both from the grandstands and from the driver and team participation level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number's right. I think the number's good. I'm excited about it for Houston. I'm hoping this is a building piece. It's a building block into long term, having 12, 11 to 12, 13 races a year for many years to come. So I think this is our first year to really set up and have a good, solid schedule. We put it out way early.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to work on your stuff. Plenty of time to get it ready. And we got some things going at Houston with this factory stock deal. I'm excited about the factory stocks. I think the factory stocks is a class of the future for Houston that's going to make this thing really, really interesting.
Well, and one thing that I do want to talk about with that, and again, I mean, Adam Haw is a friend of mine. I mean, I've known the dude forever. He's an asphalt guy. I mean, his mom and dad, they're clients of mine. They're all clients of mine on the real estate side. But I mean, to have a dude like that come out and show what these cars are capable of, I think that was really a head turner right there, where folks were like, wait a minute. This really is possible that these things will work on the pavement. And I think even though it was a little bit of a lower car count than what we wanted, I think that was something where people are like, holy shit. I mean, Rowdy Day just messaged here, asking, he's never run on pavement before. I think this is something. Steve Sims is coming to the race this weekend. I really think it's something. There's your stock class. And it's like it's already built, isn't it? I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's built. Just bring them over.
Yep, it's a no-brainer, and I tell you what, it ain't just Steve Sims. Obviously, Adam will be back. Jesse Sandoval, who was there the first time, he back. Steve Sims, Heath Stewart. Heath Stewart, I believe, is coming.
I wondered about him with
Taylor's
that
car.
Taylor's car. Yeah.
Yep. So the rumor is Heath Stewart's coming. I've talked to Tim Homeyer. Homeyer's coming. There's a hell of a dirt driver, multi-time champion there at CBS. So there's some cars coming that are some real studs and going to be some good racing. Tell you, part of the factory stock deal with HMP is the rule thing. We put 3 rules in there to try to. We don't want an asphalt class. We want to be able to, and that's something that Adam. What I loved about Adam is he was willing to share information.
Yep.
He told everybody, "Here's the gear I had to go to." So now everybody's in that 656 that gear ratio, right? He said it right on your show.
Yep.
And he didn't have to move lead. He didn't move any lead. You're like, wow, how do you not move lead to go from dirt to asphalt? Well, he didn't have to move lead. One, because we ain't allowing him to run 58% left side weight. We're only allowing 53.
Yep.
Right? So all that plays in, and part of what we've done our research on and hard work to figure out how to make these factory stocks to where you can go track to track without spending every dollar and without spending all your time switching the car back and forth. So Rowdy Chenard's another one going to be there this week.
Nice. That's a good count right there already.
2024 classes to be determined, or the same core group of classes that we have right now in 2023?
Same core group will be for sure. We're not going to get rid of anybody at this point. And I say that, we got some talking and figuring out to do with bootleg and factory stock, right? So we got to make a happy a happy medium with this factory stock deal that we don't want to overdo it, but then we don't. If it's solid and people want to do it, why not do it? There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
It's not like every track only has 3, and there's plenty of them sitting around. So there's a lot of opportunity with that factory stock to keep it as a regular class, and there's a lot of interest in that. So if we see that, we'll probably stick with that. Problem is, we get to that 8, 9 classes, man, it's like, dude, again, you don't know how I am. I want to be done by 10 o'clock. I want to put on an efficient show. We can't be there all night racing 20 classes of cars. And so there's a little bit of work to be done. We put that bootlegger deal out there with an opportunity for guys, the old street stock from Kyle type car. And it really is. You could fit them cars right in. They just ain't coming. We see the same 3 cars every week. So that class really isn't working like it should. And there's definitely some opportunities to move on and do something different.
Well, and I think part of that, Owen, is what I did like about with the last race with Adam. What you had, I mean, you combined them, and I mean, they were I mean, Adam was the class of the field. There's no doubt about it. But that is a full blown, badass factory stock. That's the only way to say it. And he was racing against, with Winnie and those guys. But they were compatible. I mean, that heat race, that was the coolest part about calling that heat race, is that you had Adam 12 in the factory stock, and Winnie was right on his ass right there, and that was a bootlegger. So I think there's room right there. And even the old HMP Pro stocks, I think this is the chance where they can pull those out of the weeds if they're still there and get back out there and have a place where they can race competitively. And that's really what you're looking for, I think, with all that.
Sure, absolutely. That's what we want. Fit the most cars into something that the cars are already out there and the ability to bring them in and race together. What I don't want, and what worries me, is I don't want to get the factory stock deal to a point where you go, well, we're going to combine with bootleggers, and then a lot of factory stock guys will get the perception of, I don't want to go do that because those cars got all this and they got weight jacks and they're asphalt cars and we can't compete. It's just perception. We've seen it actually function very well so far, but it makes sense to have a good solid set of rules that cars feel like they're getting a competitive, fair, situation when they come to the racetrack. So that's a key to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, things to expect on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. Everybody's meet and greet. They've been asking for it all year. The meet and greet's back. What else can we expect on Saturday night there at HMP at the HMP Oval?
Well, we moved to single truck qualifying there right before that, and that's due to Supreme Foundation coming on board, putting up 200 for fast time. Trucks are really the solid class there, right? They bring a lot of trucks every week. They put on a hell of a good show. There's plenty of them, whether it be here all the way to Florida. So there's a lot of opportunity for the trucks, and we want to give them the opportunities here to really put on the show they deserve. So they'll be doing single truck qualifying, and we'll run into the meet and greet. The meet and greet's kind of a neat deal. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying again to be done by 10 o'clock. So other than that, the Outlaws are back. We still have a $500 bounty on Robert Barker. And I know there's a couple other Outlaws with some interest in taking that 500 home. So, or trying to, good luck. Robert's tough. So we have, overall, I feel like a pretty solid schedule that we've worked on and revised several times, leading into just the championship. Who's going to take home the top 3 trophies this week for champions at HMP? I don't know how long it's been since we gave out some champion trophies there, but excited to hand them out this week, and hopefully guys are pumped up and ready for 2024 as we're releasing the schedule today here on Revved Up.
Yeah, no doubt. And I do think, kind of back to that 2024, just when you look at trucks, to me, I hone in when it comes to trucks, modifieds, and outlaws. I think this is an opportunity, Owen, to where you're going to be able to draw in some of those guys, some of the Mobile guys, some of the Pensacola guys, because you know how that goes as with a solid base like that, with a solid schedule, they'll work these races in, and it never fails that you're going to have to where you'll have a big race to where things are going to grow to a special deal. And I think this is huge, in my opinion, for those 3 classes. Again, eco stocks, all of that is super important. But when it comes to those, if you want to call it the top tier, the more regional stuff, I think that next year with this solid schedule that you're putting out, I think you better expect some invaders, because I do believe they're coming.
I hope so. And I tell you what, part of like what me and Meekum have talked about, Mike talked about, is putting the schedule out now and having this done is a real boost from a standpoint of trying to go after some sponsors to put out some really solid events, right? And you know what amazes me about asphalt over dirt, guys, is how bad they keep pushing me to go, we want 100 laps. We want more laps. You give them 20 or 50 and they're scratching their head going, it ain't enough laps. We don't want to go over there for that. What do you mean? You run a dirt race and you run 30 laps and they're going, whoa, hang on. We run 20 laps.
It's too far. So, that's too much, yeah.
Yeah, we go over 20 and people start freaking out. And then you go to asphalt, and if you ain't running 100 lapper, you ain't running nothing. Like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
So there's some opportunities to go after some sponsorship, to bring in some events that'll bring that level up, maybe run a 100-lap modified race, maybe run a 100-lap truck race. And the money comes with that, right? You can't just run those races for 500 to win or 1,000. There was 1,000 to win, but still, we need several thousand to win on 100-lap races and marquee events throughout the year, and start working towards that. And that's part of it is get this on the board now. Now let's go after the sponsorship to back each event that puts us in some really good racing.
Well, and it's kind of like the whole thing, Owen, because I know the knock on asphalt racing for us for a long time, and I have owned it, that we at CTS from that 2013 to 2016 thing, we caused this to where it was like where people say, I don't want to be there all day. I don't want to have to get there at 11 or all of that and be there late or whatever. But it's like when you have practice later, the asphalt folks are like, well, why is all that so late? Well, because we think you don't want to be there all day. I mean, that's kind of the knock. And when there's no Friday practice, it's like, where's the Friday practice? Well, you don't want to be there all weekend. So it's like that's a tough one right there, going back and forth with all that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's all learning for me. You got to remember, I hadn't run an asphalt track since I run CC Speedway.
You didn't have to be there, yeah.
2000.
It was like dirt back then, yeah.
I ran 2 years of running CC Speedway there, and I tell you what, since then I hadn't hardly been to an asphalt track much, honestly. So the races we run at Houston have really opened some doors, opened some eyes. Like how are we doing this, and why is it so much different? So Rodney, your point on spot on that, man. It's interesting there's just a different world, but we're adapting, and I think it's going pretty well, and we got a hell of a team.
Yeah. Hey, Polero says no 100-lap truck race. He said he's too old and fat. So
yeah.
I totally get that.
He's told me that before.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Owen, dude, thank you for trusting me with this ahead of time. Man, I'm super stoked to see that amount of dates. I've not seen anything like that around here since 2016. I actually saw it for 2017, but that we all know what happened with that. But man, this is exciting. I know that this Saturday, the 21st, is going to be massive, and what a way to springboard into this. Congratulations, dude, on being able to pull this off. I think this is one of your. I tell you, you keep accomplishing shit with these racetracks. This is one of your best shenanigans that you've been able to pull off, man.
Appreciate it. I tell you what, thanks to Dean Baker and Carl Edelman for the support and help and having some trust. I tell you, just from Rodney, from you and Bobby being there, and obviously Mike Meekum. Dean has a lot of faith in us, and having a lot of faith in a team that's there running an organization builds to bigger and better things. He's got a lot of support and a lot of back behind what we're doing. So thanks to Dean Baker for having that trust in us. And it takes all of us to put that trust together, and it's working, guys. So we're gonna keep Houston and asphalt racing around for a long time.
Gonna be fun. We'll definitely be kicking asphalt in Houston this Saturday, and then into 2024. Gonna be massive. Congratulations, dude. Have a great race weekend, you guys. And man, we'll talk to you. I'll see you if I don't see you before December. I'll see you the next time I see you, man.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Owen.